Hello fellow guitarists, and if you watch my channel you know I made a huge video about different types of pickups, and after that I spoke with one of the channel subscribers and also a fellow guitarist, and we spoke about different types, and he said he hates EMG pickups, and that got me thinking why some people absolutely hate EMGs and why some people absolutely love them. Well, today we're gonna discuss it. Let's start with the beginning and what EMGs are. It's an active pickup, but with a rather interesting construction. If you watch some kind of a disassembly, you'll see that it's not a humbucker, it's a mini humbucker, and instead of pole piece magnets, like on this guitar, you will have a rail magnets, which basically makes this a pickup from a Gibson Firebird, which should give it more high-end and a bit more single coily sound compared to humbucker. Mini humbucker are a bit more single coily in terms of sound compared to full-size one, and a Firebird is even more single coily. The other interesting part is that you see it's a full-size humbucker. Well, EMG decided to take a rather interesting approach, and they simply fill the rest of the space with epoxy. And the most important part about EMG pickup is the fact that it's active. So what does it mean that it's active and how does it work? Well, you can check out my ultimate guitar buying guide, or I will explain it briefly. So because guitarists in the late 80s, I'm lying, in early 80s, had a problem with achieving enough of a high gain sound, they most of the time put pickup very close to the string, and powerful magnets simply pull the string on itself. So EMG decided to counteract it with very low output magnet that basically doesn't have a magnetic field, and all of the sound is basically amplified by a 9-volt battery. So by itself, this pickup basically doesn't produce any sound. But when you throw a battery, it does. It's an active preamp. So all of this results in this pickup having two properties in terms of sound. First is that it's rather bright and maybe even a bit shiny. I would describe its clean sound as a rather crystally, if you understand what I mean. It has this unique sound to it, which you can pick up from the miles away. On the other hand, this pickup, because of its high compression, doesn't really translate the nuances of your playing that much. So you can play hard, you can play a little bit softer, and the pickup doesn't really distinguish this in the recording. One of the person I spoke with called the EMGs the killer of the joy of playing. Hello, Volkan. And because of this, I wanted to discuss why you may love and may hate EMGs, because most of the time people don't elaborate why. It heavily depends on the genre you are playing. Let's start with EMG haters. First of all, you won't find EMGs almost anywhere outside of metal, so people don't use EMGs for blues, for some kind of a clean stuff, although I believe EMG sounds rather killer on cleans. But still. Also, you don't find EMGs that often in some kind of prog music, except but Tosin Abasi. But he's, once again, a great example. He's a past EMG player, now he plays Fishmans, but Fishmans have really similar idea. In prog, I know only two people who plays EMGs, it's Tosin and Devin Townsend. But they both past players, now they both play Fishmans. On the other hand, you will find a lot of people playing EMGs in three genres: thrash metal, black metal, death metal. Why so? Well, because this pickup is hella compressed, it doesn't really picks up a little nuances of your playing. Which means if you need to go consistently on one extreme way through the whole song, most of the time picking the hell out of your guitar, this thing compensates if you screw up a little bit. So, what genres doesn't require from us any dynamics of the playing? Simply balls to the wall, metal. Yeah, it's thrash, it's black, and it's death. Black is rather common about playing one riff for like 5 minutes at a time, so yeah, consistency here is a key. Death metal also doesn't know for any subtlety, and thrash metal may introduce one or two clean intros. Still, if you look at players at those genres, you'll see a lot of EMGs, especially in black and thrash. Thrash was the popularizer of this kind of pickups. And before we go into conclusions, let's watch the people who do use EMGs in the genres that are not common for them. My biggest example here will be Tosin Abasi. Tosin is famous for his rather unique style of play, and if you look closely to it, you will see that he requires a very compressed sound for his selective picking to work properly. For example, I simply cannot hammer on the sound on a palm muted guitar without a lot of compression. You need a lot of compression, and EMGs, Fishmans, do give it to you. So, what is my overall conclusions? So, will you enjoy the EMGs? Heavily depends on what you like to play. If you are classic extreme metal enthusiast, if you love black, thrash, death, go for it. They are one of the best pickups for the job. Also, if you find them just a bit too bright, roll the tone a little bit. It works, it does miracles. On the other hand, if you enjoy modern metal, new school of metalcore basically, which does have these nuances with picking, where you go a bit softer and a bit harder, not that great of a pickup. If you're an enjoyer of prog, especially some kind of a Opeth style, when you can go from rather high distortion to like a really crunchy sound, this pickup will not be great for it. I tried to play Opeth on this guitar, it doesn't feel that great. Mainly because it still wants to compress the crunch into high gain. And I will throw you some examples here. So overall, is this pickup good? Is this pickup bad? No, it's just a pickup. Quantums in this Ibanez also are just the pickups. Personally, I enjoy both of them, but yeah, if I will play some kind of extreme metal, I go for this guitar. It was planned to be guitar for black, so yeah, it does work extremely great for this genre. So EMGs are not good pickups or bad pickups, they're just pickups. And it depends on you. Will you enjoy playing them or not? It's that simple. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit a like, hit a subscribe. Also, if you want to know more about pickups, check out my ultimate guitar buying guide about pickups. And play good guitars. And bye.